Can companies think and feel? Do we perceive them as having minds? This is what Simone Tang and Kurt Gray explore in a paper published in Cognitive Science. Now, the question might seem a strange one to ask, but humans are pretty good at attributing minds to all sorts of entities. Animals, machines, or even the dead. And when we speak about minds, we tend to think of them along two dimensions: agency, or the capacity to do something, and experience, or the capacity to feel. Take animals, for example. They're usually perceived as high on experience but low on agency. They feel but don't do much and can't make decisions. Machines, on the other hand, are perceived as doers. They can do things, but they don't feel. Companies like Google or Amazon, most of us seem like doers rather than feelers. Humans, we tend to see ourselves as high on both. And this matters because entities that are perceived as high on experience elicit more sympathy, compassion, and forgiveness. Imagine a baby pressing a button to explode a bomb. Now imagine a robot doing the same. People react differently to these scenarios because we see babies as high on experience, capable of feeling, but they lack accountability for their actions. Robots, they don't feel, but they do, which make them more accountable for their actions. In their first study, Tang and Gray found that business people and business goals were seen as more focused on action rather than focused on emotion. Now, this may make sense, but Tang and Gray argue that we may sometimes see organizations as feelers. According to them, companies are shaped by two things: their goals and their members, and depending on how we see their goals and members, we can see organizations as feelers or doers. In their second study, they described two types of organizations: volunteer organizations, where members were emotionally aware and sensitive to emotions, or corporate organizations where members were focused on efficiency and business planning. Compared to corporate organizations, volunteer organizations were seen as having more experience and less agency. In fact, they were rated similarly to an average person. To make sure this wasn't just about seeing these employees as more warm, the researchers ran another study. This time they used images of happy and angry employees to make sure that any type of emotion influenced perception. The results remained. Even when the employees were angry, an organization that was driven by sensitivity and empathy was seen as higher in experience compared to an organization that was driven by efficiency and cost effectiveness and whose employees had neutral facial expression. Finally, to test the real-world impact, the authors ran another study. This time they told participants about a retail store that installed a new contactless payment system which malfunctioned and overcharged customers. The store eventually apologized. When people read about a retail store with emotionally attuned employees, they saw it as higher in experience and lower in agency compared to a retail store whose members were described as strategic. Moreover, they were more willing to forgive the company and rated their apologies as more sincere. How we perceive companies affects how we interact with them, from deciding where to shop to deciding whether to forgive them after a mistake. Organizations that come across not just as doers but feelers can inspire forgiveness and compassion. As AI takes over more roles in the corporate world, will we come to see these organizations as soulless machines? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and don't forget to like the video. Bye!